Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. It is time for some Big Eyes Small Mouth episode. We're running into some slight technical issues with the new layout because it's a new way of doing things, and it's going to be sort of interesting because Xavi is running the campaign. So we're doing a new way of doing this. What you're seeing on the screen is actually really interesting. Why did it resize my... Oh, I know why. I'm on the wrong one. That's why. Let me switch this to the right one. There we go. That's what's supposed to be showing, not the other one.
And now in the many, many windows that I've got up, I need to figure out which one has your stream so I can stop hearing everything doubled.
The pains. So, let me see. I'm thinking it is not. So, even though I'm able to hear music that Xavi has playing, I am not showing that's being picked up by OBS. I think I'm gonna have to make some changes because it's not, because you have it playing through Discord. And I have mine hooked up with Discord for voice, but apparently OBS sees Discord voice as something separate from what you have playing of the stream. So let me see if I can fix that problem right away.
Yeah, it's just a bit of scuff everywhere. That's all.
Yeah. Let's go properties. Try this.
And honestly, this would be far easier if I didn't have...
I
heard it pop through briefly.
I fixed it. I basically just took the game audio and I said, what happens if I go into parameters and I choose and see if I can choose something besides game, because I have it as an outsource. Now I checked parameters and it says Discourse, Xavi's live stream. I'm like, oh, that one. Because what's going on here is the way you guys are able to see this display is Xavi is running OBS and streaming that to the Discord in the chat that we're in. And then on my OBS, I'm basically capturing that window and then sizing it up so that you just see nothing but the display. And I think it turned out really nice with the sizing and everything like that. And works out really well. So I think I'm gonna have to do some change ups to mine. I have to outdo Xavi now for my tabletop RPGs, because all I was doing was showing my actual screen. You got this whole entire setup that's a lot nicer, and with me wanting to focus down on Marpingo on my time that I'm not streaming and working on videos, I think I'm going to contract someone out to make me a really cool overlay for my streams that will fit all of its needs and purposes. So I blame Xavi for that, for making me improve even more my channel.
Yep.
So, and do we have...
Oh, there it is. Finally found this stream. I've hunted around for so much. And also, with how I've got this going on here, that little sidebar you've got with all of our names on it, you can hide that.
Oh, yes, I can.
Because you'll notice that with the Fuki tech that I'm running on here, if someone talks, your icon lights up. And now that we've got Mega in...
Problem solved.
Okay. Where's this? So I may have a few too many tabs. And this is one of the rare times that I will actually admit that.
Okay, the thing is do you have too many tabs or too few monitors?
Good point. I respect my previous statement.
Because remember when we worked as testers, how many monitors did we have? Like 4 or 5 at each workstation?
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I have 3 right here. I'm only using 2 right now.
Okay, here we go. Copy this. Paste it here. And oop. So there are still improvements to be done on this because this was somewhat more last minute than I had honestly been hoping to do on it here.
Mm-hmm.
And various oddities about OBS, such as the fact that paste as duplicate will still do a paste as reference. So the name displays would be here have been copied for everyone.
Yeah.
Which is I will deal with that later. Yeah. And there's supposed to be some more good stuff coming up anyway.
Yes.
But so it's relatively basic, but hey, at least you get music.
Yep, we got music. And if you guys can't hear the music, let me know. I can always up the volume for the music because it is its own audio channel. So any sound effects and stuff like that Xavi plays, I have audio controls over, and I should have the filters on there that I have on for voice. So things like if someone speaks too loud, it won't blow anyone's ears out. If someone whispers and it's unhearable, it will lift the volume up just to be able to barely hear it, and things like that. So, but let's go ahead now. We got everyone here. How about we get started?
Yeah,
that's good to me.
A great idea. And I nearly last minute prep.
Yeah.
But okay, got this. Have 2 of the 3 character sheets up.
Oh, okay, I need to bring up my character sheet. I can't remember where I put my character sheet.
So yours was in text over on my side.
Oh,
I'm not sure if you copied it down over on your side.
Let me check here real quick. So let me go to Discord. Where did I send that? Was that in a private chat that we did?
That probably would have been.
I'm looking. We sent so many private chats to one another that I have to go through this long list.
Okay. Well, one way I can just hide that, so when I resize the screen, it won't show stuff it's not supposed to. Then pop. Find where I actually have the file over here.
Maybe.
There you go. This is what I've got for you there.
Okay. Okay, I'll just keep that open.
Jump back to here.
I could actually do. Take all this. Copy that. I'm going to open up a notepad. Move this over to here.
And it actually is a text file, so you can just open that up straight. And I guess slight problem I discovered with your sheet, when I load this thing up in dark mode, it does not cooperate, as in it's barely visible. So I'd meant to convert over into a text file, but time got away from me. Do that. Okay, that is technically readable, good enough there. Okay, what's that?
There we go.
That.
Do one last thing more, but There we go. That way I can see my character and see chat at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm all set on my end.
All right. Now let's see if I can just recover from this on here. And that notes. Okay, I believe that I am finally ready. Alright. And I'll into our still awake, didn't bore you with all this scattered about.
I'm here.
Yeah, I know you're here. I was asking Ro and Mega.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Ro, you still good?
I'm here.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Good.
All right. So, as you see, our story begins in blackness. It wasn't always as dark as it was here, but for each of you, it had... The moments before the darkness were not the greatest of your life. In fact, they were the last. For one, it was a burst of pain followed by a muffled crack. For another, the crash of waves and being crushed by water. And the third, yet more pain, followed by weightlessness and a final crash. Not the most dignified of ends, I'm afraid. But in the moments after life, before true death occurs, it's not a voice so much as a sensation. One that asks each of you, do you accept this? Will you go willingly into the black? Or do you want to fight? Are you willing to attempt to live? Let's hear what the answers are. Control to chaos.
I immediately respond back. My character would say, I'm going to fight. No way am I going to die.
Definitely get a sense of approval there. Ro?
Yeah. My character is not accepting of the final fate of the oceans crashing in upon him.
Approval there as well. And Mega?
I respond in a string of vulgarity. Obviously not accepting that.
Get some amusement, but also approval on there as well. Then a sense of again, you're not a voice, but it does seem to be a different presence. The world that you will be entering is not kind. You cannot guarantee that your next life will be... Let's start that over. You cannot guarantee that your next life will not end as swiftly as your previous ones did. But if you're certain, what will drive each of you to continue? Same order again.
Revenge.
So there's a little bit of like kind of the balance between the music and Xavi's voice. I'm having a hard time hearing Xavi, and I don't know what to do about it on my end. I have my speakers up all the way.
Try turning down the stream volume in Discord. I should be able to just right-click and move that slider to the left.
The stream volume in Discord, I don't even see a slider.
Are you on mobile or?
I'm on my laptop.
Okay, yeah. So what you should be able to do where you are seeing it Again, 2 main windows, not enough monitors. Let me just... Actually, I may be able to do that from here. So you can see kind of on that where, like, so you right click on it, you'll have, like, so users, there's the user volume on there.
Sorry, I can't see where you're right clicking because that's in that narrow window to the right, and so it's actually only cutting off a. What did you right click to bring that menu up?
Just on each of the little panels. So in this case, on the stream itself, or just on my own panel there.
Oh, okay,
to get to user volume, and you can tweak that.
Okay.
On mobile, I am not sure how, but you may be able to do like a long press.
Okay, I think we're good.
All right. Bring that back up here. Okay, so we had Revenge from Mr. Shot.
Miss.
Yeah, that's what I said. Miss.
Oh, I thought you said Mister.
Nope, that was Miss. I'm not going to make that mistake.
One can hope, can't they?
All right. And
Nuritan wants to be reunited with his cousin.
okay, hope to have a rejoining of paths, and then Mega for your man here.
I'm sorry. What was the question? I missed it the first time around because of that volume issue.
Yeah. So, with the knowledge that the world will not be kind and this will be difficult, why are they willing to keep going? What drives him?
Just want to be free of where I'm from. Whatever else comes at me, just want to be away from that place.
Yeah, so just the urge to live in and of itself.
Pretty much.
These are all good answers. You're all found acceptable. All that then is asked of you is to live, open your eyes, and ascend. I'll pretend that music kicked in a little faster there. Practice.
Just a little.
And with that... No, unfortunately there's not really going to be any graphics for the rest of this here. But with that, all of you awaken at the same time in a roundish stone chamber overgrown with vines. Each of you on a stone slab. Not particularly comfortable, but one that you fit easily on top of.
Well, when my character wakes up, looks around, goes, well, at least it's not a metal slab.
So, isn't your character mute?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so just imagine the little thought bubbles a la Deadpool.
Yeah.
All right, so I open my eyes. I look around. How big a room is this?
It's decently sized. I mean, if all of you really wanted to, you could all lay down next to the slabs, and there'd be room for maybe 3 times your number to do so comfortably.
All right. How high is the ceiling?
The ceiling is about... It's about 8 feet or so. So the height-wise feels a little bit cramped, though it does get taller near the one exit to the room.
Okay.
A closed double door that appears to be made out of wood.
Hey,
I get
Axel,
up off
how's
the
it
slab,
going?
and I
I'm
shake
actually
out
able
my
to talk
wings.
freely while these guys aren't.
Right.
And I start scanning around.
Yeah. I basically initially spring to my feet. Do I actually have access to my force field and stuff at this point?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
as if before all your physical states are as if you were before the encounter that led to your death. So
Okay.
you're at full power, relatively well rested.
Okay. So yeah, I spring to my feet and then basically just kind of levitate about a meter over the slab, and then just kind of look around, like for threats, basically, and essentially start sizing up the other people in the room. See if I need to whoop ass. Still trying to calm down, I think, to some degree from the encounter.
Mhm.
So one thing I want to do is I want to check to see if my guns and what I had on me are with me and what I'm wearing. Am I wearing what I was wearing, or...
Yeah, exactly.
What?
All your equipment that
Okay.
you had before is what you have now. So you have your guns, you have your work outfit, and all of you know is that you are quite different styles from each other.
Yeah.
That everyone looks
If you
somewhat outlandish.
yeah, if you look towards me, you'll see somebody that his face looks like it's some sort of ceramic mask, like a laughing mask, the Thalia mask, and he's dressed in kind of a gothic theme, but there's definitely a lot of metal bits from some sort of like steam tech vibe, very angelic looking nature, and holding some sort of shotgun. And his left arm is bionic looking.
I'll go ahead and describe my character next. My character is female, somewhat slender / muscular, but not like extremely slender, but a little bit more muscular, and stands at about, I'd say, 5'6", with strawberry blonde hair that goes to the shoulders. Has a dark blue outfit with gold highlights, and has sort of like gloves that have sort of a scale mail effect with them, along with that have hand wraps around the hands with a couple of fingers. The pointer and the middle finger are unwrapped at the actual fingers, and then the boots are in the same style except the feet are totally wrapped, and has a headgear piece that has a visor that will change based on light effects, just sort of like how we have sunglasses that will change based on the light on them. And then has 2 pistols. These pistols are sort of uniquely designed. They have what look like a musket look to them, but they have a clip feed to them for the bullets. And the pants that she's wearing are sort of Aikido style pants with openings on the sides around the hips, and has tights that she's wearing underneath that. And then for the top, it's a sort of a crop top, thick cloth top. And then I think that's about it.
Alright, my guy hovering above the slab is about 4'11", kind of has the proportions of a prepubescent child, though he looks older. Kind of shaggy, very light hair, messed up face, and just general what you can see. He's wearing a sort of a robe that you can kind of think of as somewhat of like an oversized V-neck shirt that's gray, and he's got a couple of gauntlets and armored boots that both look like they're somewhat oversized, made for someone larger, like a full-grown person, though he seems to be able to manipulate the fingers and everything in them just fine. They would kind of remind you of a kid wearing like Hulk gloves, but up to his elbow. Also not Hulk gloves, obviously, and not quite that oversized, but give you and like Mega Man kind of boots, as far as like the way Mega Man's feet are very large compared to his body. And those boots kind of basically go up to the knee. And yeah, his face is really messed up. And wherever you can actually see some some of his skin, like between the robe and like the gauntlet and stuff. He looks like he's been pretty dinged up in the past. His face clearly was injured by like some concussive forces at some point, and he's kind of hard to look at. Still somewhat repulsed by him. He also looks pissed off and is wondering who the hell you guys are, and basically if he looks very defensive, basically like he's waiting for you guys to make a move to see if he has to respond.
And just make sure nobody's actually said anything out loud just yet.
No.
Well, as you all kind of, I guess, stare at each other, size each other up, because, waking up from your death to a room full of total strangers is certainly an excuse to be somewhat hesitant. Some of the details of the room start to filter in. For example, the fact that you can actually see very clearly due to they appear to be sconces carved into the wall with heatless flames burning from them on there. But for those with more arcane senses, such as, say, through a certain monocle or just through your very nature, the walls of the room themselves pulse like a slow heartbeat. And the veins of the magic within the wall, they cover basically everything. You can see as if they were thicker arteries going to the wall sconces. But what actually goes to the slabs is it's almost like streams of pure energy running through the stonework, thick as your arm. And faint trails coming off of each of those slabs to the person who was originally on them.
So somebody else has a monocle, so would they be able to see my force field stuff?
I can see magic.
Okay.
So you can detect that.
Okay, in addition to my previous description of myself, you see that I'm, loosely surrounded by a sort of amorphous kind of spiritual blob energy with two tendrils kind of coming down and meeting the slab, and then two others just kind of like writhing, like waiting to attack something, kind of a Doc Octopus kind of style situation. But yeah, all that's just kind of made out of this kind of amorphous energy that is centered around and surrounding my character. And that's what's lifting them up in the air as well. Okay, so you said there was some energy that's coming from the slabs still connected to us?
Yeah, it's a faint trail, like as if you could see dew on a spider web in the morning.
Okay. Can I interact with it in any way? Like, kind of brush it off or try to remove it from me?
As you swipe in the air at it with both your physical and your spiritual hands, you see it seems to react to your motion, but your gestures just flow straight through it. The flow isn't actually interrupted at all. It just waves in the non-existent wind that you've created.
Is anyone here injured?
Do a self-diagnosis.
My character shakes their head no.
Alright. And
Okay.
yeah, so you
So
see
have
that-
you been chosen to be my companions to in this reincarnation?
I don't know what's going on.
I heard a voice offering me a chance to live again and to complete the task of my life. I assume that you have been chosen by the gods to assist me.
I heard a similar voice, but I don't know who it was.
I pull out my cell phone and I start tapping away. And I hit enter, and the cell phone says, I heard a voice. I am no one's companion. If anything, you will be my companion.
All right, and just so we can get a feel for the system, because I think this could help out everyone. So over in the chat for the stream, you should see on the sidebar a set of or basically just a set of dice buttons. We've got major obstacle, minor obstacle, normal, minor edge, major edge.
Yeah, I see him.
Okay, they should show up
on your
over on mobile as
screen.
well. Yeah, so what you may need to do is you may need to go to the open chat option inside the text chat, or inside the
Okay,
voice
so-
channel.
Click on a button to roll the dice.
Yep.
Normal,
So-
minor edge, whatever. Okay.
All right, so I'd like each of you to do a normal roll on there and add your mind to it.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay. I press on it, and did anything happen?
Yeah, so above where the buttons were, you now have dice rolls.
Yes.
Okay. So I've got a, let's see, 17, I believe.
Okay, yep, 12 and 5, so yep, 17 there.
Yep, and I have a 12.
Okay. Right, and Rogue, the buttons letting you interact over there.
I'm not. Got it enhanced, and I'm pushing on that, but using my phone, it doesn't seem to be reacting.
Okay, yeah, maybe we did not test this over on mobile access.
Let's see.
Oh,
Maybe.
here.
Oh, maybe that might work. Let's try normal. Ah, I figured out. I have to activate the chat button to get that to work. All right.
Okay, and then
Yep, I figured a way to get it work.
nice. And so for you, that will give you a 9 on there. Okay, actually, for you, because of some of the stuff you've got, go ahead, actually hit minor edge on this one, because it's primarily visual.
Edge on this one? Okay.
And it also shows off that, so with edges and obstacles, since I did this, explain this to the group before, but for people who are now listening, it's all based off of 2d6 fundamentally. But when you have an edge or an obstacle, you roll additional dice. For edges, you keep the top 2. Obstacles, you keep the bottom 2. In this case, because Oriel there has a slight advantage to all visual aspects, plus eidetic memory, and he's generally a fairly smart, observant guy on here. So his attributes give him a minor edge in this case, which means with the 4, the 5, and the 1, we drop the 1. Gives 9. Or then a total of 13. So for everyone who actually spoke out loud, personally, so this doesn't really apply to anyone who was paying attention to Sylvan, but the sounds that they're making and the forms that their mouths are making, there's a disconnect. These complete strangers from completely different areas, each of them appear to be speaking in whatever your native tongue is, the one that you understand the best.
Some sort of translation is going on.
It would be safe to assume that, yes. But aside from that interruption, you were having a conversation about who would be accompanying who on here, weren't you?
Clear that we are from different lands, and yet we all have been chosen to be here and to work together. For whatever reason, upon our deaths, were you told any sort of quest that you were supposed to complete?
No, I didn't know to what end we're supposed to work together.
Silent shakes her head no.
Yet I see that this building seems alive with magic and power. And we are still tied to it in some way.
Yeah, and Cylin, while you don't really see what he's talking about, you feel just an odd, almost electric tingle, barely noticeable. But there's definitely something around you.
Okay. Since I'm going to try something new, different here, my character points at the two others and then points at her eyes and then points out as if, points to her eyes and then looks around with her two fingers pointing out in front of her eyes and sees how they react.
Pointing out what?
So my character points at each of your characters, then points to her eyes, rotates the handle away so that the fingers are pointing away out of her eyes, and then looks around with keeping the hand in front of her face.
Okay.
I think he's signaling to pay attention and look for something.
Shakes her head. So, she can sigh, so you hear that, pulls up the phone, and goes, fine, I'll do, types out, fine, I'll do this the hard way. What do you two see?
I see the bloodlines of the world. The veins of magic pumping through the walls, into the slabs and into us. I see the work of the gods.
Okay, Cylin jumps off of the slab, onto her feet, shivers in disgust, and starts wiping off her arms and legs, and then goes, is it gone? Is it away? Is it away? And types that out.
Yeah, it is definitely still there.
Nordson just laughs. You cannot wipe away the touch of the gods. It is not something that is like mud. It is in your bones, it is in your blood, it is in your being.
So,
at this point, I just, yell toward the exit. Is there anybody out there?
well, I mean, your shout fills the room, and you're not sure if there's anything coming past the door, but when you do go over towards the door, you notice above it the carving of a stylized tree with, you're not sure what it is on top of it. Your vision swims as you look at the engraving. But after a few moments, the itching behind your eyes stops, and you see a single word: ascend.
Right. I don't know about you two, but it doesn't seem like anyone's coming for us. I don't see, what there is to be done around here. We should see what see what this place is.
That seems wise, that we need to explore a new environment.
Silence shakes her head yes, and then puts her hands on the grips of her pistols, just as a precautionary tale.
All right. So
Send out the door.
all right. So
So,
up to the door, and so when you're opening it and heading into the beyond.
all right. I guess I will open the door. If I can.
It opens smoothly. You see dust and bits of detritus drop from it. It feels like it should shake, but instead these are the smoothest doors that you have ever opened. Somehow. And beyond is a corridor vanishing into shadow a ways down, made of the same stuff as the room that you had just left. It's about maybe 3 people wide if you stood arms outstretched, fingertip to fingertip. So enough room to comfortably maneuver around, but not so wide as to be excessive. And the features seem much the same onto it there. How about, so what's the order as you go through or not the order necessary, but your formation? How do you arrange yourselves as you head down this corridor?
Well, first of all, I'd like to spread my wings a bit more, which are covered in like peacock-like eyes on the mechanical wings. And I'll have a few of the eyes pop off and form into clockwork birds that will start flying down the corridor to scout ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so as your scouts / familiars head down, you see your sense of where they are is disorienting. It's for what you can see from them, from their motion, and from what you can actually visually see with your own eyes. The further they get from you, there seems to be a difference between the distance that they've traveled and the distance that they feel that they are. It's sometimes closer, sometimes further, but it's never quite what it's supposed to be.
Very odd.
Did you say that out loud?
Well, I say very odd out loud, yes.
Okay. So, my character types in her phone, what's odd?
The space beyond the door at times is different. It is not true to what you see or feel.
Okay. I want to look out the door and view the range that he's talking about and see if I can get a lock on sense of the range, since I have range sense.
All right, so using what you know, it feels like so between the light, what you can see from the sounds, all the different skills that you've honed over your years to be able to tell just how far away something is, you realize that the far end of the hallway, where it vanishes into shadow, you're fairly certain it's shorter than it should be. Oh, and we lost Ro for a moment here.
Oh.
I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah. It's that darn East Coast signal. Considering the rest of us are here on the West Coast.
Well, and being fair, the East Coast, I believe, is being hit a bit worse than storms than we have been.
Yes. Storms, all that we've gotten is a bit of rain.
Alright, and... okay, looks like the Fugi actually reconnected properly, since I see you back over on here, though you're muted. Well, back among the living?
Hey, Ro, you're muted. I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah. Hopefully. Nope, mute came off.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. So, what we've got now is... Alright, so going over the range sense, where... yeah, for Silene, your head... again, it swims a bit on it there, as your very senses aren't matching up either for where the light starts to fade and you can't really make out details any further in the corridor. It's as if the various bits of reality don't quite seem properly connected at the far end.
As we are going down the hallway, are we still seeing the same kind of veins in the walls as we were in the room we woke up in? And is that energy still connected to us?
So you can, as you're leaving the room, you do see kind of, I mean, you definitely, there are still major veins and arteries flowing through the walls, going in all directions. As you leave the room, the small lines that connect you to the slabs seem to kind of snap over to the walls around you instead. It's kind of like, I know on the little plasma orbs at the science museums there, where you put your hand on them and then you touch a different spot and the arc jumps. It kind of shifts over like that as you pass through the threshold.
Okay.
And
We're still attached to the lifeblood of this place, wherever we go. All right, so who is best at going first?
I mean, it sounds like if we want, we could just walk down the hallway abreast. I would like to be in front. If anyone wants to be behind, that's fine, but we can all be, essentially side by side, it sounded like. Unless your wings are that large.
I don't think my wings are large enough for me to fly in this corridor here. I usually need a little bit more height.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you were in the center and you extended them out, you could, like, if you're evenly spaced, you'd be almost brushing them with it. So you'd be kind of squishing them over to the sides if you were just straight.
Fine, I will keep them for the most part trimmed at my back, and I will follow behind. I'll use the birds to try and see ahead, since they have thermal and sonic ability to listen and see.
Okay. Silent points at herself and then turns around and sort of gestures like she's holding a gun, and facing backwards is walking backwards.
Okay. So I guess I'm in the middle.
Yep.
As Silent wants to be behind us, looking for dangers from behind.
Okay, so we've got the ghostly child in the front. We've got the
Angel
with a shotgun in the middle, sending scouts down far away, and we've got the city punk watching the rear. And so as your scouts head down through the corridors, they're able to hear your footsteps echoing down towards them, but as you're quickly learning to expect with this, they are slightly muffled, as if they're through a thick fog, and slightly distorted, as if the sound from each step had to pass a different distance than the others. And then the Cylin, looking back, as you get about maybe 10 or so meters away from the room that you began in, the walls appear to grow over that space, so that behind you looks as though it's a dead end that keeps advancing as you head down the corridor.
Okay. I pull out my phone and I type into the text-to-speech that the doors disappeared. I'm now seeing a dead-end wall that's following us as we move forward.
Well,
Definitely, this is like a dark forest of Fae.
yeah, I want to try moving back toward the dead end, see if it if it retreats, or if it if I can walk up to the wall.
Well, as you advance on the dead end wall, it remains stubbornly put still.
Okay.
And if you were to feel it, it does feel as solid as the walls to the side, the floor beneath you. It appears that where you entered, you cannot yet return.
We are in the world of the Fae. Clearly, this is their rules. They laugh at us and use us as their pawns.
Well, I don't know about Faye, but someone's suppressing giggles at least. Maybe not even suppressing. But
You suppressing giggles? Never!
Alright, continue. Alright, I'm gonna continue down the hallway then.
I still keep my eyes to the back just in case because of that change.
All right, after you're not quite certain period of time on there, though I suppose with the phone, you would have a clock, but well, unfortunately, being from where you were, the clock is one of those things that requires that whole little annoying always on thing. So about a third of your screen is covered in complaints about cannot contact host server, cannot cannot confirm membership. Your phone's certainly not bricked. You can access its basic functions on there, but it is very unhappy. And there's this one persistent scroll across the top informing you in a very irritated tone of writing, I suppose, that there's a strict reminder that any attempt to connect your phone to an unauthorized network will result in criminal prosecution.
So I scratch my head, I chuckle a bit, silently do a chuckle, and I go into the settings of the phone to sort of turn off those notifications of service provider and stuff like that and see if can get them to go away.
Well, you know exactly where the options would be to hide those if your membership was intact, but unfortunately, since it can't contact those membership servers... Hey, remember, Cylon's from a slightly more dystopian capitalistic hellscape than our own, so...
So, my character, sort of, with her holding the phone with the other hand, sort of backhands the face of the phone lightly, starts pointing it as if like she's arguing with the phone, with a very upset look on her face, and then sighs and then puts the phone away.
Are you having trouble casting your spells?
Shoulders humped down, pulls out the phone, types in spells. No, this is normal technology. There's no such thing as spells. Hits enter for the text-to-speech.
The poor godless. They believe that they have no magic, and yet it is everywhere.
Silent types into her phone text-to-speech. Oh, you're one of those preacher types. Oh god, this is gonna be a long journey. Enter.
I'm just gonna continue advancing down the corridor.
Just not gonna get involved with the conversation one bit, are ya?
Smartest one there. Alright, so an indeterminable amount of time and possibly banter later, though as to the good-naturedness of that banter remains yet to be seen. At last the corridor comes to an end, opening up into a chamber, inside which you hear a harsh scrabbling of something rough against stone. And with that, it's 7 o'clock, and I believe it's time for a break.
Yeah, let's have a break.
All right.
Cool.
Be back in 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right. We will be back then. I just read. I'm sitting here on break, relaxing, chatting with the guys. I just read Nenya's comments. They're good. I like it. Oh, these are hilariously good. Yeah. Love goes out to you, Magic and Dread. Hoping to do more golf with friends and losing more with you guys, but I'm gonna get back to sort of chatting with the group here and running ideas by them on some stuff. But I'll be back once the break's over. Welcome back, everyone, and it's gonna be just a moment. We're just waiting for Mag to get back. I thought I'd bring us back so that you guys weren't waiting. Oh, perfect timing. Just brought us back live, so let's continue off where we were.
All right, so as we left off, the scouts got there first, but oddly, with the scouts, they seemed to be going through as like the corridor just seemed to continue on, as it were. But the distance between you and the scouts started becoming closer and closer, as though you're catching up to them, despite the fact that they were still flying as what should have been ahead of you. Until when you finally get close enough to see, you and the scouts see the corridor opens up into a large chamber. It's still the transition between the corridor and the chamber is still shadowed, so seeing into it is difficult. But you do hear the scraping of, as I mentioned, something rough against stone, kind of shuffling. You hear the slight clatter of metal against stone, metal against metal, metal against bone, perhaps? So now that the chamber appears to be unlocked, your scouts are able to pass through the barrier. Should I assume that they do so and review the room?
Let's spread them out to try and take in what's ahead.
So you're coming through really badly right now.
I'm coming in badly?
Yeah, you were really faint on there and getting some background noise coming in. Like tinny. One brief moment, I'll just try turning you up over on my side for myself. Not sure how that helps with the folks over on the stream there.
Yeah, let me know if you guys had a hard time understanding Ro there.
All right. So, sending the birds in to scout the room out, find out what's making all this scraping sound of clanging on metal and stone. I'm also getting my shotgun out and charging it.
All right, there we go. Now, much easier time hearing you. There's something a little bit musical in the background, which might actually just be coming off the stream, but either way. Anyway, so as they enter the room, the first thing is it appears to be the ruins of a great meeting hall. There's a long wooden table, once grand, that has been battered and broken and split down the middle, taking up the center of the room. Chairs akin to minor thrones surround it, save for the one at the far end before a giant empty fireplace that actually is a throne. But all of them have suffered ages of abuse. The main throne itself, at neck level, there appears to be a great axe stuck in the back of it with a discoloration over on the stone that it's carved from. Oh, and something else that also becomes apparent are a large number of possibly former heroes that their return to life was not as complete as yours, it would seem, as there are a number of skeletons shambling about the room. A number, about 8 specifically on there. 4 of them are carrying bows, though oddly no quivers. 2 with large tower shields and spears. And the other 2, each wielding twin curved blades.
What exits are there from this room, aside from the one that we just came through?
At roughly the midpoint on either side of the room. Like, so, if you're coming in the room at the bottom, at the top, at the far end, that's where the fireplace and the throne would be. Then at the midpoints of the left and right, there appear to be doorways there, just large double doors similar to the ones that they match the same style as were back in the room that you're originally in.
Okay. And in this room, are we still seeing? Does this signify like kind of a major environmental change? Like, are there still the veins and whatnot in the walls that we saw in arteries?
So the scouts themselves don't have that capability on it there. Are you entering the room yourself to see? You'd have to pass through the barrier.
Seems like it's the only way to go.
We seem to have found a Hall of Valhalla. So these warriors seem to have seen better days. There are archers and spearmen and sword wielders in this room, and a large axe that seems to be buried into a stone throne.
So Silent pulls out her phone and says, what kind of armor are the enemies wearing? And hits enter, puts the phone away, and then pulls out her pistols.
They appear to be some sort of, I would say, Vikings, by their shields and blades and archers.
Looks at you sort of oddly, like, huh?
Vikings.
Puts one phone or one pistol back, pulls out the phone, and with her thumb, types into the text to speech. You mean like in the medieval times? And then hits enter.
Yes. This is a Valhalla, where those that have passed on beyond have come back to life. The halls of the heroes, likely selected by Valkyries.
Well, only the only way to go, so let's keep going.
Okay.
And I can pass through the barrier.
Simon puts the phone away, pulls out the other pistol, and follows suit since it's the only way in.
All right. I will prepare to cast a minor environmental change in front of us, so that creating an ice slick. So if any of the melee types try to charge us, they will have some sort of disadvantage.
Okay. That's so then, as you enter into the room, the skeletons that had been shambling around somewhat at random, all of their heads just almost audibly snap as they turn over towards you. And you can see just an eldritch purple light glowing in their eye sockets as they all look straight at each of you and rapidly form up into a bit of a skirmish line. I've split, so you've got 2 archers, a swordsman, and a shield on either side of the table. And they do indeed start to charge.
All right. Dropping the ice slick in front of their charge.
Do we need to roll initiative or anything?
Yeah, let's take a look here. I know. Got this. Right, so initiative is going to be your normal roll plus your attack combat value, and for those with lightning reflexes, so Cylin gets to do this with a major edge, and I don't think Leonov has that on here, does he?
No,
he doesn't.
So you say the base combat value plus the roll?
Yeah.
Where's my base combat value?
I've got 13.
Okay, yeah, so yours, Cylin, yours is actually, so from your base stats it would have been 5, but because you took the attack combat mastery, your value is 6.
Okay, so 6 plus 5, that's 11, plus my, okay, yeah, so I have 11.
Alright, just note this down here, so we got, and that's up. Okay, so you had 8 plus, alright, base attack, not counting the bonus on unarmed, was at 7. So 8 and 7, you're at 15. 7. Then there we go. 7 and 4. So also 11. And skeleton mob. Let's always get them all one mask group on here. So I've got Alright, nice. So this puts them at 12. Alright, so as the fight starts, they are charging forwards. They have yet to reach the ice slick, but they are just entering the extreme of your range. Leonov.
Okay. How big is this table? Like how much do you think it weighs?
So I would say you could pick up a decent sized chunk, or not you, but your spiritual assistant would be able to pick up a decent sized chunk of it and use it as a makeshift club or projectile if that's what you're planning.
Yeah, basically. So if I can pick it up, if it's something that I can throw and it's like long enough that I could catch all these guys, great. If not, then I'll just try to use it to like bat at the other group. I don't know if it's like large enough where I could get a multi-attack off of this, or if I can just signal or choose one particular enemy, just because it is a large thing, you know. Yeah, or I could, I'll just try to throw it at however many people I can, essentially.
All right, I'd say there's enough of a separation between the melees and the ranged that effectively you have 4 targets you could hit. You could hit melee on the left, melee on the right, range on the left, or range on the right.
Okay.
But you would be able to hit both members of each of those groups.
Okay, I'm going to try to take out the archers on the left.
All right.
So I don't think I have any bonuses to this. Because I don't have...
yeah, this would be basically...
attack bonus.
Yeah, effectively we're looking at an improvised attack on here. So there's not really any penalties either. So I just do a normal roll and they add my base combat value? Yeah, we're going with your base combat value here.
Okay, 11.
All right, and so I'm going to be calling this effectively a spreading attack on it because it is a wide area, which means that for their defense roll, each of them is going to be facing a major obstacle, the same as if they were being shot with a certain electric shotgun. So we got 2 former people in there. So we go boop and boop. And let's see what a good base amount of damage would be off on this here. So I would say, we are talking a hefty chunk of table. Oh, there we go. Rock or object, large. Alright, so that is going to be a level 5 attack. And since you're using your enhanced abilities on this, that makes so you get the benefit of the super strength from them.
Yeah, so plus 2 damage modifier.
Yep, so that takes you from your usual 5 up to 7, which means we are looking at 7 times 5, 35 damage. So one of the archers... Actually, hold on a second. Here it says... Okay, yeah. 6 plus base. 5, got that. Actually, so scratch that. Both of the archers... one is just caught completely flat-footed. It's in the middle of drawing its bow. The other one attempts to leap out of the way, but it basically gets clipped mid-air, and you actually just pulverize both of them.
Okay,
with
so
a chunk of table. So you have the bone dust just and shards, bones, weapons, bits of armor all go flying through the back of the room on there.
Okay.
And go on.
So, Chaos, what you see basically is my character's levitate in the air about a meter, and then you just see this table get picked up and just invisibly get flung. Whereas Ro, again, you see the tendrils, basically 2 of them lifting me up in the air, the other 2 grabbing the table and throwing it.
Okay.
All right, and as the pulverized remains scatter and bounce along the ground, after a few moments, they seem to just shimmer and fade. You see a slight glimmer of appears to be gold at the far end of the room where everything was. But for those of you that see magic, as the remains vanish, there's a pulse as the energy that was within them gets drawn through the floor. You can see the veins glow brighter as it approaches each of you. And so Cylene can feel some of this, though she can't actually see it specifically. Mm-hmm. But it surges through you, up your feet, to your core. It swirls around, giving you just this brief feeling of warmth and vitality, before it races through your body, down your right arm, to somewhere in your forearm. And then the feeling vanishes.
I look down at my forearm to see where it went. Do I see anything different down there?
I mean, your forearm looks like your forearm, though now that you're actually paying attention to it, each of you who does check and is actually able to see due to it not being covered, you see that there are 3 glowing, they appear to be gems, glowing kind of a Cherenkov blue, about the size of a thumbnail. And then just a sliver more to this has just grown in next to them. And those gems were definitely not there before you died.
Okay. So, what's the initiative order? I know Mag went first.
I believe the skeletons go next.
Okay.
Yeah. However, you do still have 1 more action for your arms and 1 more for yourself.
Oh, hell yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, all right, cool. I'm just gonna use my tentacles, to swat at one of the other archers on the other side.
Okay, so the archers are outside the actual, even with as stretchy as you are, the archers are outside the reach of that, because you do have this big ice slick that's blocking you off from the melee guys. So you could reach them over the ice. But if you want to hit the archers, you do need to have some form of ranged attack.
Okay. Let's see. In that case, yeah, I will just hit the swordsman on the left.
All right.
And so that does count as an unarmed attack, right?
Yes, this will be an unarmed attack.
Okay, so that is a +9 or to my roll, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if that. Oh, second. I just scored. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It flings things around a little bit on it there, but it does settle. So that's a roll of 15. And this one's a normal in this case. Alright, but sorry, going for the swordsman on the left, you said?
Yes.
Alright, so crash into him. So if you want to go ahead and describe what that looks to everyone there.
Okay, so yeah, Ro, you see, my tentacle just kind of like lash out in a swinging motion and just, lash out at the skeleton. CC, you basically just see kind of a blur that suggests movement that isn't necessarily like attached to me, because you're essentially just seeing a blur from like the end of the tentacle moving at like because it's the fastest moving part of it. I guess you can see like a mild amount of like air displacement or something. We basically just came up with this as kind of a way to where like, if I'm attacking somebody, even though my tendrils are invisible, that there's something that allows the people to realize, oh, some shit's coming at them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so the sword wielder it throws up its blades in a crosswalk to attempt to catch the spirit tendril coming in at it. It just didn't appear to really have any difficulty seeing it, but unfortunately for it just gets shoved straight back. I know block may be all well and good, but if you're just not strong enough, as apparently this one isn't, gets knocked backwards down onto the ground, clattering. It doesn't shatter. It does lose a couple of the ribs do skitter off over into the distance on there, but it does seem mostly intact from that.
Okay.
So
Out of
basically,
curiosity,
I want to say this real quick. Basically, what you're saying is the skeleton didn't have enough muscle to keep from being pushed back.
Yeah, it's just not beefy enough.
Sorry, I had to say it.
Like, I'm gonna blame you for that.
okay, and then so out of curiosity, I'm wondering how just for future reference, like how damage is calculated in this situation. I apparently hit him, but like I don't know like how we determine damage.
Yeah, so in that case, so with the chunk of table, you had the level 5 times your multiplier of 7 at that point, so you're looking at 35 plus your base 5, so that was 40 damage to them, which just pulverized them. This one was a melee attack in this case, so by default the melee attack does 0 plus your combat.
So that's 5 and then plus the 10 for the super strength, so about 15 damage.
Yeah, so you did 15 damage in this case.
Okay, cool. Just wondering how the math works.
All right,
and then I'll reserve my last action, since I don't want to get closer to them, and because I can't use my tendrils for that anyway.
Right.
So I will just essentially try to reserve a potential defensive maneuver in case I get shot at.
Okay, so I'll say that by doing that, you can give yourself a minor edge on your attack roll unless something comes up that would negate it.
Okay. Good.
All right, and so definitely quite an opening, and the skeletons unfortunately don't really appear particularly impressed. If anything, the ones that are still intact somehow seem to be angrier, despite the fact that they have no real facial expressions. But you did break up the charge on the left, so the sword wielder is busy getting up to its feet again, which leaves the shield bearer to attempt to continue to charge forward through the ice, unfortunately, on there, which, again, bone does not really have the best traction against stone to begin with, and on such a slick surface. Let's see how they do here. Okay, and this one as well, it attempted to charge in closer to melee range, and is now currently trying to untangle itself from its own limbs in the middle of said ice patch. Nothing went flying off of it, you're not sure any actual damage happened, but it's not doing anything else for these few seconds other than trying to right itself. Speaking of the right, let's see how they do on that side. Alright. The sword and the shielder have unfortunately met a similar fate. They were not expecting their footing to be as uncertain as it was on here. And the entire forward momentum of their attack has, sadly for them, been lost. Now, unfortunately, there are the bow wielders over in the back. And a certain someone has definitely drawn their attention. You're not sure whether they could tell specifically it was you that did it, or if it's just because you're in front. But, Leonov, you have drawn some ire, as well as a few arrows.
Okay. So I am able to apply my melee defense to ranged attacks. So my unarmed defense is 7.
Mm-hmm. So what we'll be doing here is each of them will be rolling their attack, and then for each of those you'll be able to roll your defense with the minor edge because you took that time to kind of prep yourself for the response.
Okay.
And if you beat their rolls, then, well, at the very least, due to the benefits that you picked up, you're able to straight up deflect the arrows.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what happens after, they may go somewhere else. So let's see. So we have Archer number 1 has rolled an 11. So you have to beat a 14.
Okay. So that is 7 plus 7, so I have tied it.
Okay, and we will go with... Yeah, we'll go with players win ties.
Okay.
Alright, and then Archer number 2. Alright, you are looking at a 12. And that's an easy win.
Okay. At this point, I don't think that arrows would be all that effective against skeletons in the first place, so I basically just use my gauntlets to just swat the arrows away.
Yeah, so they take their aim, they loose their bows, and there's just this clatter as arrows that hadn't actually been there before they were drawn. They just appeared to come out of midair, but on impact with the gauntlets, they sure felt like wood and steel, up until you smack them to the side where they shatter on hitting the ground and vanish again. You are, of course, completely unharmed.
Cool.
And that is the skeletons. So, Cylin and Oriel, since you tied, who wants to go first?
Silent can go first.
Okay. So the skeletons that have the shields, when they're all tangled up, is the shield on top of them, or where are the shields?
The shields are effectively useless right now because they aren't on their feet. They aren't able to actively defend themselves. And that's basically what a shield is for. It's effectively an active defense rather than a passive one like regular armor would be.
Okay. So, well, I just didn't know how it all landed. Like, when they fell into their little pile and falling on the ground, did the shield land on top of them, make it a bit harder to hit, or what? So that's why I was asking the question.
They're basically at kind of skewed angles on here, and especially given your character's traits, I'm not sure if Silent actually cares if the shields are in place or not, does he?
Well, I just wanted to know how I word it to play out, what abilities I'd use, stuff like that. That's why I'm asking that question.
Yeah, so we'll say that they count as partial cover in this case here. So it would make a straight shot a little trickier than it would normally be. Okay,
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire at the two skeletons with the shields. I'm going to take my first shot, and I'm going to aim at the floor to where it would bounce off and then hit the skeleton in the head, because that's going to be the best place that I can actually have an easier time hitting the skeleton. Anywhere else would be a harder shot. So with that, and having with the ricocheting shot, does that change whether I roll normal or do I just roll normal? How would that work?
Let me just do a quick double check on it here. This one does not have quite as good an index as the other games books are, so it didn't get over to the right chapter. Again, I know I've seen it on there. Where's that? Yeah, comment definitely. Oh, right. We did this one as technically a custom piece on it here.
Yeah, where I can nullify cover by doing a bounce shot.
Yeah, and I believe that's what we put on that for here was just that so long as you have a sufficient surface, you're capable of doing that.
Yes.
So given that we've got hard surfaces completely surrounding you, you can basically ricochet as you please.
So I just do a normal roll then?
Yeah, so this will just be a normal roll.
And then I'm adding my range attack, right?
Yeah, so you've got your base combat attack of 6 in this case, and then +2 for a ranged attack with the pistols, so you are adding 8.
8. Okay, let me do the first shot roll. Okay, 7 plus 8, so that is going to be a total of 15.
All right, and so number 1, because they're stuck on the ice trying to get up, their shields cannot help to give them an edge on their defense, and even if they could, well, you're kind of nullifying it through your ricochet on it there, so their shields are kind of completely useless for them right at the moment. But they will get a minor obstacle on their defensive check.
Ooh!
And completely pushed it, so that's one skeleton you just slapped right upside the skull with a bullet.
And then I'm going to do, for the other one, the same type of shot. Have it bounce off the floor to hit them. So I'll do the same roll. 4 plus 8. So that is going to be a total of 12.
Alright. Okay, this one, that's actually the best roll we've seen tonight.
Yeah.
But is it good enough? Did I give that again? Alright, so this one managed to squirm around to attempt to raise the shield in the path, but it was just a moment too late, and your bullet hits it right in the clavicle.
Oh, okay. So it didn't hit the head, but hit the clavicle. Okay.
Yeah, you're still smacking with a shot there.
Okay. And so they're both still alive, correct?
Oh, let's double check. So that was a medium pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Modern ranged. Alright, so that gives it effective level of 3. So your base multiplier there is a 5, because you didn't improve that. So we're doing 15 damage, plus your base combat value of 6 in this case.
Mm-hmm.
So both the shielders have been hit for 21 damage. They are not in good shape on it there. And the one that you shot in the head actually is now missing the back of its skull. It's kind of wavering a bit, but otherwise not. Normally if you shoot someone in the head, they stay down. This one's still trying to get back up.
Okay, so...
And the other one, its spear arm really... It doesn't quite want to lift properly, given that the bones in that section are shattered, but it's still trying.
Okay, so the one I hit in the head, since this damaged the most for my, because I have extra actions, it says plus 2 actions. How many actions do we get normally?
You get 1 by default.
One by
you've
default.
got plus
So
2, you've got 1 more thing you can do.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ricochet another shot, but I'm going to change where it ricochets from. So I'm going to have it hit off the nearest wall or nearest surface besides the floor, and hit them again. So
Alright.
roll this. Okay, that is 5 plus 8, so that's a total of 13.
Alright. And... yeah, so with that on it here, your bullet actually manages to strike it right at the base of the skull, and coming in from behind. So at first it had, small entry wound through the forehead, top back of the skull's gone. This time comes in from the base of what skull remains over there, pops it off and shatters out the face of it, spraying the swordsman with it with shards of bone, and it just collapses. It ain't moving, and it rapidly fades, both of the skeleton and its equipment, turning into a shimmering golden dust, and once again, a surge of energy follows up into each of you.
Okay, and that's my turn.
All right. And Oriel, what would you like to do here?
What I'd like to do is, Oriel's gonna, since this room is a bigger, more ceiling area, I'll be able to use my wings to get into the air. And once I'm in the air, I will use my ability to affect the environment to create a fog around where these archers are. So that will hopefully give them an impairment or obstacle on their shooting.
Okay, and so you're effectively shifting the effect over then. So the ice is vanishing and you're shifting it to fog.
Okay, I can't keep 2 spots? Okay. Then,
yeah, I'm going to say you can do 1 effect at a time on here for now.
Alright. Okay, then I guess I will keep the ice slick going, and instead, I'll take to the air and I will fire my shotgun into the closest group of skeletons.
Okay, so actual group there would be the ones on the right, where you've got the sword skeleton that's scrambling but unharmed, and the shielder that is kind of messed up at the moment.
All right. Well, focus on this messed up one, and if I do well, my shotgun can spread to possibly hit a second person.
Yeah, so I'd say they're close enough that basically you'll do one attack roll, and that's going to apply to both of them.
Okay. Oh, that's a lousy roll. 3 plus 6 is 9.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, maybe it's something about the atmosphere doesn't conduct the electricity as you're used to on it here, or maybe it's just something that's thrown you off, such as, your relatively recent demise. But
my large blast of electricity fills the air, but doesn't seem to be very well targeted.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's also a giant flash of electricity, and they're not particularly mobile right now, so let's take a look. Alright, so you had a 9. Alright, first one is hit. Second one... Yeah, fortunately that one actually managed to pull off a decent roll, even with all the disadvantages going on. And I believe I had noted down here that you are doing 24 electrical damage with said shotgun. Alright, so the lightning bolts, they arc out over towards the enemies there. They latch onto the twin swords as the skeleton's attempting to lever itself up on the ice, using the swords as a grounding point, and they just flow straight through it. Even though it doesn't have nerves, it jitters and shakes as though it did, and collapses back down onto its front. It just twitching wildly. It's just convulsively holding on to the blades as lightning arcs between them and itself and the floor, and it's kind of good it's not organic, otherwise this would be somewhat disturbing to witness. But because it's a skeleton, who cares? And the shielder, however, does manage to get said shield in the way in time, and the lightning crawls along the front of it and then discharges harmlessly into the ice, setting up a small puff of steam around it.
Okay.
Alright, so back to the top here, we have the nun archers on the left, the unharmed archers on the right, a single sword skeleton on the left, and the ones on the right are not in great shape right now. You've got one twitching, one unable to lift its spear, but they are attempting to get back to their feet.
So
with all this, Leonov is up.
So the one that is remaining on the left, this is the one that I hit before?
Yes.
Okay, but this is not the one that Chaos hasn't shot, this one?
No, Silent went after the shield bearers, not the swords.
Okay. Cool. I am going to, basically the one that I already hit, I'm gonna take a swing at that one. Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. How big are the chairs that were near the table?
I'd say give them about half again as big as an average gamer chair. No LED lights, though.
Okay. Well,
and these ones appear to be wood, unlike the stone throne over at the head of it, but they're still decently hefty.
But the stone throne is probably too far away for me to grab.
Yeah, that's way too far away for you right now.
Okay. So I'm gonna, I think, pick up probably a couple of chairs and throw them at the archers. I'll start with one of the archers, try to hit him with one, and then see what, and then might direct a second attack at that guy. So,
all right, I'm going to call these medium objects here, rather than the large ones that the chunker table was.
yeah. Okay, so roll normal.
Yeah, just go ahead. Normal roll here.
That'll do.
Nice boxcars.
Yeah, so that is a, if it's just my base combat, then yeah, so 17.
All right. And, well, yeah, that one is... Archer number 1 is definitely getting clobbered by a high velocity chair here. So that was 3 times 7, 21, plus your base there again was...
My base combat value is 5, but then I have the plus 2 weapon damage multiplier.
Yeah, so that's where it came in from that's what got the 21 on there. So 3 times 7, then plus 5. So yeah, 26 damage. It is...
Sorry, it is what?
It has... Yeah. Basically, one of its legs has kind of gotten pulverized, and the other one is a little bit trapped underneath, but it's still moving.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Not very well.
I'm going to go for the second guy. Is he hurt to the degree where it looks like it'll be like it's going to inhibit his ability to fire his bow?
Its arms are still intact. It might be a bit awkward from the angle there, but it could still be able to pull a shot off. They're still boneheads.
I'll go ahead and go for the same guy then.
Yeah, okay.
5 plus 5 is 10. Actually.
Alright, and I'll say that given the damage that you just did to him, and not really in a great spot to attempt to block against this one here, so we're going to give him a major obstacle. Alright, so you were at 10, he gets an 8, and yeah, chair through the torso. Bow goes one way, surviving arm goes the other, skull who knows where, but it all turns to dust.
Cool. And then I will once again ready a defensive action, because none of the melee people have, because of the ice, they haven't gotten close enough to us yet, right? For a close-in attack with like my gauntlet.
Right. I mean, if they manage to get their feet underneath, they may be able to do a charge to get into range, but at this moment, they're still basically in the middle of the ice patch. So you'd have to basically go. You'd have to move into melee range with them in order to take a swing.
Yeah. I will just go ahead and again ready a defensive action.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we will go with Sortie on the left. Let's just see if he can actually get out of the ice. And move. I don't actually have labels on all these, so we can see what precisely I rolled before on them here. Okay, looks like I was just doing normal dice rolls. Okay, yep, and that's the target number I was looking for. So, Sortie on the left, it does manage to scramble to his feet and charge. It's kind of a lurching attack at you over here, Leonov, but it is still a swing coming in.
Okay.
Though, because it's lurching, I'm going to give him a minor obstacle as he's still coming off the ice.
And I have a minor edge because of my defensive action?
Exactly. So your target number to beat is 9, which you have done even without counting your skills. Yeah, so he comes in with a clumsy swing, finally managed to get his feet under him at the last moment on it there. But it is... you could be back over in the world you came from and see this blow coming.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you deal with it here?
Yeah, I just, again, kind of deflected like with a backhand away with my gauntlet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a clang, there's sparks, and it just takes this big dip down from the recoil of your parry there, and hits back up to where it's going to try again, unless something unfortunate happens to it before it gets a chance. Then over on the right, we've got Twitchy and the Shield. Twitchy's going to go first. Let's see if he gets off the ice. Nope. That one is still stuck convulsing right at the moment here and just cannot get properly set up. And the Shield... Apparently the ice refroze around the base of its shield on there after that brief bit of steam came up from the melting from the strike, because it is tugging, but it cannot move the giant slab of metal that's stuck behind. So right side is still out of melee range and currently combat ineffective. And what remains is a single archer at the back that, if they could feel fear, would certainly be. But since it's not, despite what happened to its comrade, it will take another shot over at you here. And I'm not sure you even need to roll for this. Let's see, so you would be having to beat a 7. Your defense is 7, isn't it?
Yeah, this is at me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, anything I roll is going to add to that.
Yeah, so it's with the same move that you used to parry the blow from the sword skeleton that came at you there. You just instinctively duck underneath the arrow coming in as it swishes by, not even touching your hair as it bounces off the wall behind all of you. Clean miss. All right, Cyllin.
So
Your turn.
it is actually around 8 o'clock. I think we should actually call this because I know some of us have to work probably or have other things that we need to do tomorrow. I know I do because I have a stream that I have to start at 10 a.m. because there is a new build of Stars Reach. And I want to see this build because they put in a new planet.
Oh, that's going to be impressive. And yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's not much fight left on it here.
Yeah,
you guys have styled all over these boneheads.
Yeah. So how about
I think we could wrap up with another in like one more round, most likely. But
yeah, but let's go ahead and
if we need to call a hard stop, that's fine too.
Yeah, let's do a hard stop at 8 for now. I want to thank you guys all for watching, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Stars Reach live stream. Bye.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Good evening.